Well, it is evening time. Just excuse the state of my hair. I've actually finished having my bath and everything, so I've got my nice comfy, one of my big lounge jumpers on. I'm going to come on now just to sort of go over a topic of motivation. I've got no script. I'm just winging it, as it's one of hubby's favourite sayings. I've got dinner cooking, so I wanted to sort of get this filmed before the guys come home, you know, and then not necessarily tornado hits the home, but yeah, faces normally things like, oh, what's for tea, if they haven't already. I know hubby's already messaged me to say what's for tea and everything, which is something else I'll go into in a little while. Yeah, I do have meal planning and things like that, which is also something I'll be covering. As I said, I've got no script, I'm just winging it. And I've got a few pieces that helps me keep organised, sort of keeps me on track. I thought this was ideal. This video has been coming up for quite some time, and I think I've mentioned it to a couple of people. I know one in particular asked, you know, how do I keep motivated? And today is an example because I haven't really felt as though I've accomplished a lot. I did, and I'll start off with my usual pieces. It's my 30 minutes tidy up. I do that every day. That includes making sure the beds are made, you know, any washing up's done, straightening up and things like that. And I do that every day. I also do a 10 item pickup. It doesn't have to be 10 items, but to me it's usually 10 items. It might be just straightening things up, putting papers away, whatever it necessarily means. And at least one lot of laundry. Now, I don't know about anybody else. I'm one of these that separates all my laundry. So I spread it out over the 7 days. So it's like 2 double beds, so that's bedding. There's also bath towels, bath sheets, things like that. Dark wash, lights, delicates, and also work clothes, because one's a mechanic, one's in engineering, so those clothes have to be actually washed separately. Then I actually have to put it on an empty clean wash afterwards. So there's a number of different, and then sometimes, especially around Christmas time, I have a complete red wash, due to the fact that some of the t-shirts are not worn that often, but occasionally some of the dye might come out, so I do a complete red wash. I do put those sheets into colour catch as well. So that's 30 minutes tidy up, that's 10 item pick up if possible, and also my one lot of laundry. If I can do that, that's what I call my basics per day. If I can do that, I pretty much can keep on top of everything else. Then everything else I can spread out over the week. So I've got a number of things that help me keep myself organised and on track. One of them is I still keep a planner. Yeah, a lot of the time it's got, used to have appointments, places where I need to be, and just sometimes the basics of what I need to get done each day. Especially if I start at the start of the week and thinking I need to do this, this and this and that, then I'll spread it over the week and put it in my planner. It's also nice to look back, I think. I don't know if anybody else is the same with planners and diaries, whether you look back on a particular couple of days or something once in a while, you know, maybe a year or 2 years on. I still kept a lot of my planners, although mostly my planners has only been the line. I think this is the 3rd one actually. This is the 3rd year I've done a planner, but I used to have to-do lists, and I have got to-do lists go back. It used to be a notebook. I used to just put the day of the week and that, and then list down what I need to do and tick, especially when I was working. And some of those I've kept, you know, quite a few years now, and I keep thinking I'm going to destroy them, but sometimes it's nice to look back, do you know what I mean? So the planner is one of the items. I've explained this has come from Pamela. This is the to-do list, and as I said, I've done this sort of thing before. And if I show you a blank page, things to do today, so that's basically what the page is. You write, it's got the date there, write down what you need to do, and then you can tick it off once it's done. And this is something I'll be using again in the near future, maybe next week. due to the fact that I want to get some things done. I did this back a while back when I did a week of getting stuff done. Those items that you've put off the rest of the time, that you just feel as though you sort of got to make a start. And one of the only items I didn't get done on that sort of time was actually replacing the curtain bits in my cubbies in the kitchen and covering the tumble dry and things like that. Never got it done. I got the material but I never did it. But it was like painting the inside of the fence. I did that through the first lockdown and it took me quite some time to do it, but I sort of went, yay, when I finished it. It did take me weeks, if not a month, to get it done, but I did get it done. So things like that, you know, the things that you put off. Something I've mentioned before, this usually goes on my breakfast bar. If I've got an occasion coming up, yeah, right, a party or a get-together or something, talking about the past, or when we've been away, especially when we've been away, like the 10 days we did it in Warwickshire for September, I have a rundown of things, especially the last sort of day, the day before or that day. You know, it's things like switching off water, unplugging everything, things like that, you know, whatever, making sure you've got medication, you know, run down wallets, I don't know, keys, not so much paperwork, but you get the idea. Run down of everything they can think of. And I used to say to the guys, you know, anything you can think of, write it down here. This actually is from sort of last week, and right at the bottom it's got notes, and I've got a few areas that I want to sort of address this week. So I've got like the kitchen, I've really straightened that up, and yes, I've still got to finish my kitchen organisation series. There's still that to come up. The dining room tends to be a bit of a dumping ground. It's quite easy, stuff comes in. You might have noticed in the background of some of my videos when I've been around the area, I've had some toys on the dining table. That's because when we came back from my caravan the last time, I actually popped into a friend before this lockdown to pick up some more of the Civilian family sets that I've purchased from her for our granddaughter. So toys was on here. Under the stairs cupboard, I've got my cubby needs tweaking, games room needs tweaking. I've got some gifts and things that I've been setting out in the games room, sort of partially taken that over. Usually I allow that area for our son. And the upstairs cupboard, which is my decor cupboard, because I'm slowly putting the decor, some of it out for a few weeks, and then I will declutter ready for the Christmas decorations coming down. So at the bottom there I've got areas. Now I've ticked off, kitchen's been done, toys has been done, understairs cupboard was done yesterday, and you've probably seen that video. So I've got another one, I was working on the dining room today. I haven't videoed it, and that goes into what else I was about to mention when I did my basics this morning. That's because I had a dentist appointment and I wasn't too sure whether it was going to be another assessment or whether it was going to do treatment, because this treatment is when I last seen him in March. Then I was supposed to have the treatment in May, and it was full lockdown, it was cancelled. And then I've mentioned this before, the filling is now gone and broke, and we've talked now about having the tooth actually extracted. So that's been now, I've got that treatment now booked in. So I wasn't sure how I felt, so it was this afternoon, so I made sure I got sort of my home straightened up and those basics done before I went out, due to the fact I wasn't sure how I felt when I come back. But I did a couple of little bits in the dining room, then I had a leisurely bath. So that is basically today. So I haven't really accomplished anything as such, but I'm not sort of putting myself down because I've done the basics and I've got my meal on, so I'm happy bunny. But normally I always want to feel as though I've accomplished something. So sometimes when the guys might be sitting watching TV, we started watching the James Bond movies, especially it's a shame really of Sean Connery's passing. So that's probably one reason why it's triggered off watching the James Bond movies, but that's another story. So that is another list. Another list I've got is this one. I've shared some of these before. This is fresh out for shopping, especially if I'm actually going out food shopping, but I also like this handy. This is near my bread bin. Where I do all my sandwich making and packing up and that sort of thing. That's another video. Due to the fact if something runs out, I ask one of the guys to put it on the list, especially if it's something like sugar. I always have to, literally sugar as in the food sugar, I have to check with the guys, or I have to check my cupboard, because if it don't go on the list and it gets missed off the shopping list and it's not something I regularly you know, sort of purchase, then it can get missed. And don't blame moi if it doesn't get ordered. And sugar's been one of the things. Normally, you know, I order 2 or 3 bags at a time just to sort of make sure we got sugar, because I know hubby takes sugar to work. Son doesn't, but he does eat have the sugar when, you know, has a cup of tea and that. So that's just an example of other things that may get missed. So that helps. Also, it helps because I do a lot of my shopping online. You've probably seen a lot of my food hauls. Unless we happen to be away, especially in the caravan, if I'm home, I normally have Iceland delivery shop. So it just makes it easy. And I will say Iceland are doing quite a few meal deals as well, which helps with your meal planning. So it just helps, and it's less wastage as well. So you don't keep having too much food of one item in your cupboards, taking up valuable real estate, as the Americans like to say. You know, clogging up your cupboards, so you're not got half a dozen of one item and something else missing. That's what I'm saying. And no disrespect to the Americans, because I've got American family, well, hubby has on his side, and I've got quite a few American friends. But that is the thing about having lists, and that way you can keep a check and you don't keep missing things off your lists. Another thing, as I said, I use a variety of different methods. I actually use all these. Is a timer. You could use your phone. I've got my phone on videoing at the moment. Yes, and this. In fact, I have actually got an app on my phone. Hubby put me on it quite some time ago actually, and it's like for the tumble dryer wash machine. If I'm busy elsewhere, you know, I do keep a check on my washing machine, but if I've got 3 or 4 lots of washing and I get sidetracked and I'm doing a big job, say, or whatever, my phone will go off and alerting me to my tumble dryer's finished or my washing machine's finished, especially in the summer when I know my washing machine's finished, my alarm's gone off on my phone, then I can hang my washing out and things like that. You know, there's little things you can use, but a timer is a good idea to get motivated. If you're one of those people, you know, you think, oh, do I really have to do this? Or can I really be bothered? Especially with lockdown, I'm guilty of this. Oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. You know, and then before you know it, you're in one major mess. You do a little bit each day, it helps. If it's something, and I'm one to use this, is set your timer for a certain amount. Very often, if it's having a really bad day and really don't feel up to it, I probably will set it for about 10 minutes. Very often I will switch it off and I would carry on with what I'm doing, but at least make it to that 10 minutes doing a particular job. If it's a big job, how do I explain this? It depends what the job is. If it's emptying a whole cupboard, like I've got walk-in cupboard upstairs, I realistically have to be in the mood to do it if I want to empty the whole lot. Or if it's just a section, it's not so bad. But if it's a big area like that and you know you're going to be in one massive mess, either you don't mind being a mess, but you're going to make it make a start, at least you make a start. As long as you're going to go back to it, even if it's later that day or the next day, as long as you've sort of allocated that time to do that major job, then fair enough. But if it's something that you can just do a little portion, so say there's a box of stuff in a wardrobe or cupboard that needs sorting, and you don't have to empty the whole wardrobe, then at least you know you've started, you can sort that box out. Hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. It depends on the type of job. That's why I have my to-do list, and sort of vary it to what I'm going to do each day, and it also depends on how I feel on the day. This also comes down to my to-do list, because certain things depend on how I feel on the day. Do I need help with doing that project or chore? Am I safely able to do it? I think I've broached this all before. And have I got the materials at hand to do that job? So before you start your project, you know, sort of make sure, you know, you've covered all your bases and things like that. Like I said, it all depends, and I know there's a fair few out there that have been enjoying my videos, and I thank you and I appreciate all your support. And I know there's many of you out there that are suffering pain, and it is hard to get going, it's hard to do things, and even you know, laying in bed or bedridden, you know, I've had my issues. One of the worst experience I had was when I was struggling at work. I was a carer for 15 years, and I was in dreadful pain when I went to bed, and I promised hubby that I would go and see the GP the next day. Fortunately, I was in dreadful pain. It was my right shoulder, my arm and my hand, but it got quite late, and I managed to get some sleep, and I woke up shocked because I could not move the whole of my right side. I had numbness even down my leg, and it did frighten me. And in the end, I rang the GP, and he rang me straight back asking me questions, because he just wanted to make sure I hadn't had a stroke or anything like that. He rushed me down to the GP to get me checked over. I did have, over that month, I had a lot of tests, and eventually I did have physio. I had a frozen shoulder, but it affected me really badly that I could not move the whole of my right side, even if when I set it into my leg as well, my hip, everything, but it was mostly my arm and I say my hand. I could not grip, I could not do anything, and I was off work for 3 months. And I was, although it was a frozen shoulder, I was in so much agony and pain. I remember that Christmas sitting on the bathroom floor crying, near enough screaming. I was so tired, pain. I'm not the sort of person to sort of sit back and not do anything, and I just felt really rotten. I can't really come over, but I'm sure if you're in pain, and some of you are, you can understand what it's like. I felt down in the dumps, is putting it mildly. And I remember hubby banging on the door Christmas morning, got Christmas dinner on, and I was sobbing. I was really sobbing. So I know what it's like, you know, to sort of these people that have disabilities and everything, you know. And I know, and at least I knew, or I didn't know at the time, but it felt like it, that it was only going to be temporary. But it lasted 3 months, and it was one of our boys was still at school, the other one was at college, both doing exams. Hubby worked full time on my own. I lived in pyjamas. I think that's where my pyjama and slipper fetish come from, because I lived in pyjamas literally and everything. And I did actually get in quite a slump, and relying on so many different people, my family admittedly, and I felt awful them having to come home, especially hubby, cooking dinner, even my sons. Although luckily my youngest actually did, I don't know what they call it now, home economics, you know, he did a cooking at school, but he ended up being a mechanic. But anyway, so he was pretty good in the kitchen. Not knocking my other son. Anything was better than nothing. Yes, I'll cook dinner tonight, Mum. Beans on toast. But I enjoyed it, you know, because I didn't have to get it. But all well and good, it's better than nothing. They got fed, nobody starved and everything, but everything went to pot, you know. And it being my right as well, right-handed, I couldn't even do to-do lists. I couldn't doodle, I couldn't write letters. I tried writing with my left hand, didn't work. Yes, I could type, but this was me. That's enough. As I said, this went on for about 3 months, and even when after the 3 months, when I finally went back to work, had to be on light duties, which did cause a few problems, but my GP did stick up for me because he was actually also the residence doctor as well, so he knew what was going on. He knew most of the staff anyway, and he really did actually you know, gave me the backup there, so it was really good. And he knew what I'd gone through those months. But I know what it's like. I have a lot of back pain at the moment. I do have problems with my legs, especially my knee, my right knee. But that's why I might be a bit fidgety. I'm sitting on the bed because sometimes I stretch out. I try not to cross my legs, but I've got a bad habit of doing that, which I shouldn't really, but there you are. But doing some basics each day, even if it's a little bit, then it does help. If you're able to, that is. Now, I'm not knocking you if you're in pain. I mean, maybe you can do to-do lists as long as you don't get depressed. There's no, no, I'm one to say this. How can I put this? It's not bad to delegate. My son who lives with us, my youngest, and hubby knows I would delegate for something that I don't feel comfortable in doing, or I can't do, or need help with, or they know when I'm not well. There's little things that they know happens when, you know, I'm not particularly well. I do go quiet and silent treatment probably, and things like that. And they will say to me, "Is there anything I can do?" But if I say, I keep going back to this, doing a little bit, if you're in bed, that 3 months I was off, I did have organisation always on the back of my mind, always been like that. But I could do little things like at the side here, this doesn't change, at the side here, you know, I keep my socks in those chest of drawers there. It's things like getting a drawer out. I might need help. So I remember once hubby, when he was going to work, taking the drawer out, putting it at the right side of the bed, and I sorted my sock drawer out. It'd probably be still sitting there when he got home, but I would have sorted my socks out, have a bin at the side so I can dump the socks, if that makes sense. But well, I couldn't sort of lift it back to put it back in the chest of drawers, but it was comfortable to stretch out, you know, brace my arm and everything, and do the sock drawer. That's just an example. As I said, I know what it's like being in dreadful pain. Worst being really bad headaches, migraines. That is, I think, top of my list. Migraines, I think it's one of the worst actually, because you're feeling sick, you just have to have it black, really dark, and you just can't do anything. At least if you can, if it's not that, you can watch TV, blah, blah, blah. I think I'm getting really off topic. I do apologise about this, but I'm trying to cover a variety of different things and seeing if you're in the mind, if there's something that you can do. Now, when I say can't do, I know there's some readers out there, book lovers. Dare I say it? Read a book. Dare I say, can you get rid of that book after you've finished? There, one item decluttered, even if you've read the whole book. Do you know what I mean? It's something. Have a basket or something, somewhere comfortable in your home that you can throw things in, whether it's movies, you know, like DVDs, games, things like that, if you're not selling them on, books. That's one item. You've read a book, you're going to get rid of it. that's an item leaving your home. It's as straightforward as that, you know. You can't help it. But as I said, there's different things of addressing these things. But as I said, I have all these things that help me to keep on top of it. Main thing is to take that step forward, to do that little bit, just to start to do something. As I said, I'm not perfect. I have my days. I've had an off day today. Not that I've been in that much pain. I did walk to my appointment, mind you, because I'm not getting transport. But I've been to a dentist appointment, I've done the basics, and I've got my meal on. So again, like I said, although I haven't really accomplished a lot today, I'm pretty much on top of it. One of the main rooms I like straightened, and you can see in the background, I'm in my bedroom. This is the one room I do like to be tidy. I don't know if you noticed it in my videos, even our son's room is tidy. Whole of the home, bedrooms, I like to come to bed tidy, you know, stretch out if I do read a book or something before I settle down, things like that. I don't like, and I don't mean to upset anybody, if there's any clothes, we do have hooks on the back of our door, and I keep coat hangers at the side of my wardrobe and hubby's wardrobe of clothes that say you've been out, because very often, I don't know about anybody else, if I've got jeggings on, come back and put lounge pants on or a lounge suit or something and hang my jeans up. But if I've only worn for a couple of hours and just want to be comfortable, then I hang them up. It's like, instead of having clothes, because you know we've got the chest of drawers just here, instead of leaving clothes piled high, I only put them there if I'm in the process of putting them away. We do have hooks behind the doors for dressing gowns or like hubby's work clothes and things like that. So they're not sprawled over, because that's one thing I don't like looking at, is laundry everywhere, if you know what I mean, especially if you're in bed. Even if you, as hubby says, oh God, woman, go to sleep, lights off, it's dark. He says, I can hear your brain ticking. I try and not stop that. This is one reason why I'm the last one to bed, because usually he's fast asleep or snoring his head off or whatever, or you know, really about asleep by the time I actually come to bed, because I do my checks. I've said this about before, which I haven't actually brought in, is reset. Very often I have a reset day anyway, but I like to reset the home at night, especially if I'm the last one to bed, which is normal unless I'm in pain and I'll bring a book up. We did have a decoder up here. We used to have a TV up here, DVD player, about, I don't know how many years ago now. I think this might have been before YouTube, so maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I actually took it all out. If I'm going to watch something on YouTube, I've got my laptop that I bring up, but we don't tend to have technology up here at night. We don't have mobile phones. They actually, because we've got a landline, mobile phones are left downstairs, usually charged overnight, so don't let electronics stay up here. If I happen to have my laptop on, if I'm doing something up here or reading or something or watching something on YouTube, then laptop doesn't stay up here. When I'm about to settle down, it goes back downstairs. It's just something I have. So no electronics and no clothing, if that makes sense. So yeah, so as I said, I think I've waffled on. I'm sorry if I've bored you to tears, but if you can take anything, let me know how you keep organised or how you keep motivated. As I said, failing that, a timer. It could even be on your phone. If you want to just look at the clock, set an alarm, whatever, you know, even if it's just for 10 minutes, you know, to start something. Surprising actually what you can get done in minimal time. I've watched a fair few YouTubers, different ways how they get motivated, how they get organised, and what I've actually been saying is everything's worked for me. It's best to find something that works for you, whether it's a combination of different things or one particular way. I mean, you don't have to have all this like me. I have it for different reasons. One notebook, even if you just want to start with a notebook and see, you know, meal planning, you could put it in there, your to-do list, whatever, and just have it all in one place. There's no harm in that. It's just, I said, I think whether it's lockdown, whatever, I keep writing notes down because I think you sort of, your brain gets lazy as well. So as I said, I do apologise. Don't know whether I'm going to cut out all this. I've winged it. As I said, my husband is always saying wing it. I've just gone with it. I've had no script. I've just gone with it. And that's why it might be higgledy-piggledy. But I didn't want to delay this video any longer. I just wanted to sort of get it out there, as you know. So hopefully this will help you, especially coming into, well, we're into now, the second lockdown. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Sorry if I've bored you to tears. Thank you. Goodbye.